Hey, Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty damn well, Paul. How are you?
That's I am hanging in there. Spring has sprung in New England, which is nice.
Yes,
Um,
hot day here. Hot day in Buffalo.
which is how often do you say that? Um, Let us go back in time. And a week ago, we were talking about our oh so scientific survey of the conference attendees at SIOP, the Society for Industrial Organizational Psychology, where we were asking about AI usage. And just as a quick recap, and yes, I am reading this, so pretend like I'm staring at you. Um, we had a small group of folks who were a little bit more sophisticated, far more sophisticated in use of AI than the general population. But yet, as we're about to talk about, some of their concerns were exactly what the rest of the world's talking about. The sense of can I be forthcoming in saying I use AI, or should I hide it? How am I judged, favorably, unfavorably? And what does it mean going forward? There was just as much anxiety as there was optimism and excitement for the use of AI. So, Jeff, what I thought we would talk about today is maybe a bit of a continuation where we could say, hey, employee, let me introduce you to your new coworker. It's AI. Now,
Hi.
all right, ease up, buddy. Ease up on the old sexy eyes there. But how do you feel about a relationship, a work relationship with AI? What makes you nervous? What might excite you? Because that's really what we're talking about. It's like a one-on-one relationship as if it were a coworker.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
thinking?
So first of all, I mean, it is very much the way that it is introduced as sort of like not just here's a coworker. It is here's this coworker that you must work with every day, and you must make use of it. Right? It's like so much. It's like felt like it's just really shoved into people's faces. So there is some resentment, like, oh, you must now have this coworker work alongside you every minute of the day, and by the way, we're not going to tell you what we want you to do with it, right? So I think that is a little bit of the conflict. Like it's like, well, what am I going to do? Like I think about sometimes when at my past job, I would sometimes, oh, here's an intern,
Mm.
and I didn't know I was getting an intern this summer, and I'm not prepared for this. And then so like you're
Mm.
scrambling to figure out like what am I going to do for this person and give them a valuable experience. In this case is like, all right, what am I going to do with this tool and make the company feel like it's getting some kind of value out of this experience, right? And
Well,
also,
particularly if they're saying, and we're going to be monitoring how much you use this tool. That's
right.
crazy.
Right, and then what are they really? And then that's just a whole other thing. So let's like, what are they monitoring then? And it's just sort of like that. I logged into it. I ran prompts. They don't care what prompts I'm running, right? So ultimately, it's yeah. I have this. Some part of me is like, this is really cool. It's a tool. I'm finding ways that it might actually help me and save me time and give me something. So there's a positive to it. But on the other hand, what's my motivation to like give this thing a lot of credit or to give this
Mm.
thing a lot of like I wanted like, oh, I made this thing like is it like, where do I find that balance between I hate this thing made me look good, or is this thing making me look obsolete? Like, where do I find that balance?
So I was just going to insert that thought, and it occurred to me as you were talking. There might be some jealousy. Isn't that crazy? Like here's your older brother Harry. Oh,
Not
Jeff,
really.
be more like Harry, right? So, but think about it. AI, you can ask AI anything. And sure, it's not always right, but it knows way more than you, right? So, and this was one of the points that also came up when we were playing around with people's anxiety about working with AI. One of the, I guess, implications is we don't know what expertise looks like anymore. Like before AI, I was an expert, and there were things that I knew how to do, and there were judgment calls that I would make, and there were judgment calls that I would make. And now I've got this, AI's in town. There's a new kid in town, and the new kid could do all the things that you could do when you were new, probably a lot of the things that you could do right now. Well, then what's left? And that's not helping me build a relationship, make me want to use it on top of what you were saying before that. So it's almost like we're having this existential career quandary because
Yeah.
of new coworker AI.
Okay. So let's go back, because I think talking just a little bit, not all the way last week, but just rewind to a minute ago when we were talking about, and companies are monitoring you, right? And they're
Mm.
looking at, well, what are they really monitoring? Like, what is performance with AI? Like, you know, it it's and I think that's sort of the crux of success with the tool, because I think where you see more successful adoption, it's when there's a more thoughtful way of what that measure of performance is. It's not just, oh, you're clicking on prompts all day. It's you're building something. You're showing some creativity with the application, and you're
Mhm.
being rewarded for the value that you're bringing in with it, as opposed to just sort of, oh, you've saved this time or that. There's something a little bit more enhanced in sort of, you've done this, and now you're enhancing your own value because you also are doing X.
And I don't know if I'm about to say something cool or frightening. AI would be the perfect mechanism for evaluating how well I'm using AI. Now, I say frightening because I don't trust it completely for what I'm doing. And now I'd be asking AI to evaluate me on how well I'm working with it. And who knows what that thing's going to spit out and why and how polite it's going to be or not. That
Yeah.
would be arguably a cool metric, an AI value indicator. I broke his brain just then. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff is speechless.
Well, well, I would just want to just be like, that's a wonderful use of the tool, Paul. Like, I mean, I think I'm just trying to think, like, what would it ever be truly critical? I mean, I do think that you could
Right.
ask it, to help enhance what you're getting out of it. Uh, yeah,
How
maybe.
would it know? How would it
But
even
that,
know? If it learns from us, is it monitoring all of us like the ultimate big brother and then putting you on a percentile in terms of a value? What a
I,
messed up
I, I
data.
mean, I mean, maybe I don't know if it's doing all that well in real time. I mean, I think that that's sort of the other aspect of why the models are built like they're not. updating the model as I'm using it, right?
Mm.
They're gathering all this information as being used, and then they update the models, and then it has better performance in the next generation. So
I'm sorry, Jeff. I can't do that.
I know, you can't do much. How? So thank you. Uh, yeah, I don't know, but I do. But then it does go back to me as my coworker. Well, do I want to be? How much do people like being evaluated by their peers?
They don't.
So, and again, it's not a coworker; it's a tool, and that's where I feel like I don't want to be thinking about it as a coworker. I want it should be a tool that I have control over. I should feel like I'm in charge and in control of how it's being used. And when I feel that I'm in the driver's seat that way, I feel that I'm more likely to use it. I feel like I'm more satisfied with how I'm using it
Mhm.
and more secure in my career as a result, I would think, as opposed to it it has the upper hand over me, where it is a coworker, it's an agent, and it's learning everything it can from me so it can take over more and more of my job. Like that's not going to feel good, and if that's the intention, then
Mm.
my motivation to work with it is obviously not going to be high.
Well, Jeff, how about this? I'm a big fan. I don't know if you are actually. I've never really asked you this question. I'm a big fan of the original series Star Trek. And corny and limited in budget and not politically correct in all things anymore. But the relationship between Kirk, Captain Kirk, and Spock, right? Spock was, in essence, going to play the role of AI, logical, very intelligent, works computers and knows stuff. And Kirk was like the poker playing pirate of a human who knew when to break the rules, knew when to lie, knew when to bluff, right? One of the classic episodes, right? It's like, not chess, Mr. Spock, poker. We're going to bluff. And it reminds me of a definition of expertise. I like it. See what you think. The definition of an expert is someone who knows when to break the rules. And I wonder if that is always going to be our Captain Kirk over AI's Mr. Spock.
I think that's brilliant. I really love that application of it, and I think that's it. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we know when things are working and not working sometimes with AI. It's just something's not making sense, or its application is so rigid. It's like, no, this isn't the way we want to go. We need to go into a different way.
Mhm.
Or when I've tried to get AI to do something that it just can't do. Like I once wanted to draw a ladder with different rungs of different width. And no matter how often I tried to explain it, it just couldn't do it because there's nothing out there in the world that's ever apparently done
Uh,
that. And so it just like I can't the rule just could not be broken. So I think
mm.
that's a great way. And you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. And AI doesn't. AI doesn't. So that is
Wow.
potentially our upper hand over AI, at least for now.
You know what? We're a little early, but I feel like you've done a great job of putting a nice feather in all that. So let's do it. Dave, conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
I thank you, Hal.
I said goodbye, damn it.
Jeez. I'm just gonna go crush out my cigarette and fade off to sleep now, I guess. That's
Whoa, the gambler meets Hal. Oh my gosh, that's right. That's what we're doing. We are pitting Kenny Rogers Gambler against the Stanley Kubrick Hal. I love this.
love
We
it.
are so going to use that meme for this episode. That's just brilliant.
It's awesome. Well, it's low red eye and my cowboy hat. Hey, a great way to end the week where we'll let you have the rest of the weekend to mull over your favorite Star Trek, Stanley Kubrick, or Kenny Rogers.
Three great tastes that go great together.
All right. Take care.